It's Friday, so that means it's time to drink, or taste something, rather. And I got a fun rapid-fire tasting here. Now, if you want to catch all my tastings live or recorded, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. But first, I want to tell you, I listened to you. A lot of you all told me you wanted to start seeing me taste other things, so I'm doing just that. I'm going far outside of my comfort zone in some cases and tasting things that I normally would not. For example, I've got a flavored whiskey here. I have a flavored whiskey. Now, this is something that I have always said, flavored whiskey will give you herpes, and vodka's the devil. So I'm not a fan of flavored whiskey, but this has been thrown on my desk to do a tasting today, so I'm going to give it a shot. Got the famous Norwegian spirit called Aquavit that is actually made in New Hampshire at Tamworth Distilling. I'm excited to give this a taste. Big fan of Aquavit, actually. And then I've got a whole cadre of different types of American whiskeys. So here we go. Now, I am taking notes in my spirits journal. You can get one of these by going to spiritsnetwork.com. I'm on a few shows there. I've got a show there called Frontier Filmmakers where I pair whiskey to films. And I actually think this is one of the more advanced journals. It was definitely created for a taster. And so my trusted assistant, Jessica, went ahead and filled this out for me about what's in here. So let's get this thing going. We're going to start with Cadée American whiskey. This is Medusa. It's 80 proof. It's distilled in Indiana, matured and finished and bottled. Let's see. It looks like, so when someone says it's American whiskey, that means it's not a bourbon. It could have been distilled, or could have been it could be a blend. I mean, American whiskey is a lot of different things. But so this was distilled in Indiana and aged in Clinton, Washington. Nice bottle. Look at that. It's got kind of like a Medusa kind of thing there. Actually, that is Medusa. Okay, that's kind of creepy. You're gonna be pouring whiskey that's got snakes on it. Okay, the nose is not exactly pleasant. It's very like alcohol forward. A lot of like rubbing alcohol and grains. Yeah, and dirt. Taste-wise, it's much better than the nose. Kind of spicy, vibrant even. And little vanilla. And I dare say probably a hint of chocolate there. So not bad. Not bad. Not the it's one of those where the palate's definitely better than the nose. The nose was not very gratifying, but the palate showed a little hint of chocolate, which who does not like chocolate? Okay, so we're gonna stay with Cadée here. This is another one that's distilled in Indiana and bottled in Washington. It's 85 proof. It's 2 years old, finished in 20-year-old port barrels. Okay. Now that's something. I'm a big fan of port. So this would be, they're acquiring stocks from Indiana and doing stuff with them in Washington. Nothing wrong with that. They're being honest about it. That's good. This is another one that doesn't have much of a nose. It's flat. It's got very alcohol forward on the nose and some specks of grain and also dirt. So between these two things, like here, there's like an earthy component that I classify as dirt. So I'd be very interested to know like what their warehouses are like. Is there like a dirt floor, for example? Now, here's the thing. This is 2-year-old. That doesn't taste like 2-year-old. That tastes like a 5, 6-year-old bourbon. Really quite good. The nose on these products, these two Cadée products I just tasted, the nose is off, but the flavors, they've got a lot going on the flavors. So that's a good sign. Might be a little magic in those warehouses in Washington, but definitely whatever's happening in there is not matching on the nose, but it's definitely coming through on the palate. So keep that up. So now we're going to go to stay with Cadée, and we're going to go to their Cascadia, their rye whiskey. This is finished in port barrels as well, also 20-year-old port barrels. So these would be tawny port barrels. Now, since it's also distilled in Indiana, it's important to note that Indiana's rye whiskey is 95% rye. So they typically, those ryes tend to be very, very dill forward, like a dill pickle. So the fact that it's finished in a really complex port barrel, I wonder, did that port barrel withdraw any of that dill pickle briny note? Okay, that same nose of kind of like alcohol forward is there. I detected in the other two Cadée products. So this is very interesting. Now the question is, did the nose that did not please me in the first two and got improved on the palate, will that be the case here with the rye? Oh yeah. Damn. This is why we taste. If all you did was just smell whiskey and you didn't taste it, you'd be missing out on a lot of really good products. In my career, I can think of probably 10 very good to great whiskeys that the nose was really, really off, but the palate was right there. It was really tasty. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes the nose does not meet the palate. And I'd say that the best whiskey that I had tasted from the Cadée Distillery was this 2-year-old rye, finished in 20-year-old port barrels. And let me try to break this down to you because it's actually really, really complex. It's velvety on the palate. It's kind of like butter, just like dripping down with little sprinkles of spice throughout. And what I like about this, you get this with some ryes. I very rarely got it from anything from Indiana. But when I was a kid, I used to eat these, the snap, crackle, pop bubble gum. And it's like you would chew it and like pop, 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 pop. That's what this 2-year-old rye is like. So I highly recommend this 2-year-old this 2-year-old Cadée Cascadia is what they're calling it. And these other two, you know what? Give them a shot. But I'm not saying like rush out to get them. I would say this is probably one of the better 2-year-old rides I've ever had. It's fan-friggin-tastic. Okay, so now we are going to jump into a single malt tasting. This is from the Virginia Distillery. 3 years old. And sherry, cuvee, and bourbon casks. See if there's anything on the back here. This is an American single malt from Virginia Distillery. Okay, there we go. American single malts is a category that we start seeing a lot more of. And it's really exciting to see what they're doing and how far they're coming along. Okay, so this smells like, you ever been to a brewery, like not like a distillery brewery, but I'm talking about like a real brewery, and you smell the hops, you smell all the other stuff. This has that kind of distinctive, like hoppy, you know, fermentation smell to it. It's very raw. Like this is like I would describe this as raw. Like you're ready to get it and like, you know, jump around. This to me, I smell this and I want to go to a rock concert and get in a mosh pit. Mm. Oh yeah. Oh, but very, very nice. Very nice. Honey, grapefruit, graham cracker. This is an excellent American single malt. Um, and this is one that they distilled. So it's not being acquired from somewhere else. Virginia Distillers distilled this, and they should be damn proud. It's called Courage and Conviction. Congratulations on making this. This is a fine example of American single malt and shows us where we can go in this category. Way to go. That's fantastic. So now I'm going to go to the Aquavit. Aquavit is a Norwegian spirit. Normally, caraway and dill are used. Now this one is made in New Hampshire. Unlike bourbon and Scotch and cognac, this is not geographically protected, and so you can make this anywhere you would like. And this is from the Tamworth Distilling Company. Now, I got to tell you, when I first saw Tamworth, when I first saw this label, my mind went to Scotland. Tamworth just sounds like this one of these kind of like obscure, out of nowhere, you thought was extinct distilleries from Scotland. So I'm excited to see what this is. Very excited to see how good this is going to be. By the way, I'm a huge Aquavit fan. I love this type of spirit. I kind of have this reputation for hating vodka. Got a sign that says vodka sucks. That's real. But I'm a big fan of other types of white spirits. Gins. Big fan of gin. Big fan of like unaged tequila, unaged rums, good unaged rums, and Aquavit. Oh. Oh yeah. This is this is not meant to be an insult. It's an actual statement. It's a little bit like smelling like some toothpaste, some minty toothpaste, and then after that, cardamom, like freaking Cardamom City. It's like they just like went and seined out like the biggest giant hunks of cardamom that they could and just slapped it in there. Unbelievable. Mm. Mm. Yeah, once again, I mean the palate's very warming. A lot of notes there that if you're outside of the bourbon community, you know, you recognize it's kind of like a lot of licorice, or rather, I don't mean if you're outside the bourbon community, but if you're in the bourbon community and you know bourbon, these are kind of going to be foreign flavors to you. And in some ways, they're kind of old school flavors. There's a lot of licorice in here. There's a lot of cardamom. There's some clove. So if you like that cadre of flavors, you know, Aquavit might be a fun, entertaining spirit for you to chase, to taste and explore. And I put this Skiklubben Skiklubben. Listen, I can say Tamworth Distilling. Skiklubben. I put this up there with some of the best American aquavits I've had. So they're definitely doing something right there. Go check this out. Ooh, they're putting black walnuts and caraway in there. Ooh. So now we're going to go to the one that I've been avoiding. This is from Boundary Oak. Now, Boundary Oak is here in Kentucky. They're in Hardin County. And they brought me some St. Luke handmade whiskey with natural lavender flavor. So you bring me flavored whiskey at your own risk. I have never in my life liked flavored whiskey. In fact, I do have a saying that flavored whiskey gives you herpes and vodka is the devil. No, it smells like a dadgum candle store it's like I'm walking into Sears or Von Maur or Dillard's and there's all those like, would you like to try this perfume for your wife? Would you like to see this cream? All those makeup counter people. And yeah, it smells like a makeup counter. Which, hey, if that's your intent, like if you want to smell a makeup counter in your whiskey, I think this is a home run for you. But, boy. I just can't get over that. I don't even know if I want to taste it. Like, it's like a chemical makeup counter-y. Okay, here I go. I actually swallowed that. Yeah. No. But here's the thing. I'm not a flavored whiskey guy. You send me flavored whiskey, I mean, you have like a 1% chance I'm going to like it. Do I understand the concept and the market for it? Absolutely. I'm a businessman. I understand why people would create something like this, but it's not my jam. And I'm always going to review things honestly. But I do like Boundary Oak. I think they're good people, and I wish them the best. But I'm obviously not their market for this. But hey, if you want to see future tastings from me, make sure you're clicking the subscribe button here on the YouTube thingy. Check out my new podcast. You can go to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast, and just search the Fred Minnick Show, where I interview musicians and pair whiskeys to their palate. And to that point, I also do something similar on the Spirits Network, which, again, this is the best tasting journal I've ever had, and it's from the Spirits Network. But you have to be a member to get one. Go check it out, spiritsnetwork.com. Hey, that'll do it for this week's tasting. Thanks so much for joining me. Until next week, see you later.